From an esports perspective, Emily, starting with you, which league are you more optimistic about going into 2020? Call of Duty League or Overwatch League?
They have different problems, right? Because with Overwatch League, it's an infrastructure issue where what they're trying to do is really unprecedented, honestly. Like, the only successful geolocation I've seen in esports has been in the LPL, where you have this massive Chinese League of Legends fan base and player base already in place. And they're doing it all in one country. And they're also almost entirely doing it towards, the eastern part of China, within cities that there's a large amount of people and you can travel really easily between them. You're not talking about these massive flights to multiple countries Overwatch League is going to be doing. And with COD, I see a really dedicated fan base already in place with these really well-known players that have, millions of people following them, specifically those players. And yet the game that they are releasing this league on is, let's just say, suboptimal. That's a tough question, honestly, just because they have when you're talking about like why we're discussing them in such a negative manner, they both have completely different issues, in my opinion.
We'll get to the Overwatch League challenges in a second. Quick response from you on this?
I actually think both problems are game related in some ways. I will say this, I'm more optimistic about the Call of Duty League than I am the Overwatch League. For one reason. The Call of Duty League, in my reporting, talking to people around the league, talking to executives, Call of Duty League expectations seem way lower for Season 1 than Overwatch League expectations seem for Season 3, right? Which is the first geolocation. And they're both geolocated this year, to be fair. They do travel a lot. So here's my thing with both of these leagues, and this is so important moving forward into 2020. I think that Call of Duty has a problem with converting players from casuals to hardcores, people that do follow esports, right? It is one of the highest sold console games every single year.
Yes.
Tons of people that play Call of Duty, even if only for a couple of months. But it struggles to convert people to the hardcore fan that watches and tunes in and buys merchandise and likes teams and likes players, right?
Okay.
But the one thing they do have going for them is that a lot of the Call of Duty players are interesting. As we see by things like the slide canceling argument, is that all of these players have big, larger-than-life personalities, and they're kind of like, they make it easier for the league because they make themselves marketable. They don't have to force it out of them. That's been a problem in the Overwatch League. Only a handful of players in the Overwatch League have been particularly interesting outside of game. Here's the problem with the Overwatch League. People don't play Overwatch. This is the problem with the Overwatch League. It's really that simple, right? How can you have a subsection of hardcore fans when you don't have people to play your game in the first place? So, said this a billion times. I will continue to say it throughout the year. Activision-Blizzard, please make Overwatch free to play. You want people to play it again? Stop caring about the $20 you're making from it. Have it free to play. Get people back into it. This has helped Counter-Strike, although Counter-Strike didn't need the help as much as Overwatch does.
Especially with Overwatch 2 coming.
Correct. Yeah, make Overwatch 1 free to play. But also, what we saw at BlizzCon, Overwatch 2 only seems like an update they're going to make people pay for, like a WoW expansion pack.
Right.
Not exactly a
completely new game.
Which is, in my
opinion,
modes. Also a problem. That's also a problem. They need to do a little bit more. But you gotta have a big subsection of player base to get to the esports fan. It's kind of like you measure in tiers, right? And at the top or at the bottom, however you want to sort it, is the esports fan, and it is a small percentage of the people that play the game. If you don't have people playing your game, no one's going to be an esports fan.